I want you to know that going into this game, I'm playing with my heart and my soul. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is SeanBonJoviii, and I have quite a few replays for you. One, including my own. Let me give you a brief little teaser of this. I had a huge match this week, extremely exciting. But before we get into that, I want to talk about Snowy Kurama versus MLG Popplio, one of the most hyper-offensive teams in the league. We're talking Terrain, Sneasler, and Deoxys. That's HO, baby. Versus Stall. We're talking Clefable, Avalugg, Blastoise, Chansey, Perchaunt, Jirachi. This is Fire and Ice, Hell versus Heaven. This is the match I've been waiting to see. And let's just dig in. Let's get after it. So we have a lead Excadrill versus a Jirachi. Great lead for Snowy Kurama. Ends up revealing a Balloon. And I think that's a bad decision. Balloon is a very temporary item, and in a Stall match, you're going to want to grind. He ends up revealing Terra Flying to avoid those Earthquakes potentially, or maybe to resist Sneasler. Jirachi doing no kind of chip on Blastoise. Rillaboom switches in, maybe into a critted Crunch that lowers his defense. The best possible RNG for MLG Popplio by turn 4. So he goes back into the Avalugg, ends up losing his heavy-duty boots, so now if Kurama can get his rocks up, he's going to be able to do a ton of chip to a Terra Flying Avalugg. Comfey comes out. What's he planning to do with this? Maybe a Calm Mind boost of sorts? Alluring Voice. Okay, Terra Stellar Comfey. Very interesting. Ice, welcome to the chat, man. It's good to see you. He gets a U-turn. You see U-turn on a lot of utility Pokemon in Draft League. I always think that's cool because you don't really see that on the ladder. So who just got knocked off? Air Balloon was popped. As I said, you know, it just wasn't very valuable. And in versus a Stall team that's going to grind, you want something better than Balloon. That just wasn't going to be valuable. So Sean Frost used Rapid Spin, Iron Head. Oof, that was bad. That was bad. I'm going to replay these last couple turns. So Stealth Rocks go up. Iron Head crits for 26% damage. Rapid Spin removes it. Now we got a speed boosted. Iron Head still doing no type of damage as the Body Press KOs. Yeah, he looks like he almost didn't even prep for Avalugg if he was willing to Iron Head into it twice. Here we go. Okay, we got a Psycho boost into the Jirachi doing no type of damage. Is this a really long game? I hope not. As we go Body Slam, secures a Paralysis. It's not looking good for Snowy Kurama. I could easily see this turning into an hour-long game, if we're being honest. Knockoff, already knocked off. So, all that chip on the Avalugg undone by a single recover. It's just not looking good. The Terra Blast doing nothing to his signature Empoleon, the Primrose. 50 turns long-ish. Okay, let's skip. Fast forward. How does this go? Yeah, I don't like to cover long matches on my team. Come on. It's just, I have like this fast-paced commentary style, and it does not fit. So we're gonna skip to the next match. Me versus MC. So if you're not keeping up with the Draft League, this is me on the left, SeanBonJoviii versus MC, one of the best Rain Draft League teams I have ever seen. I mean, it just looks like a perfect draft. And this is an important match to me. I lost my first week 6-0. I disqualified myself in an embarrassing way week 2. And so in my head, I'm thinking, I need a win. I gotta prove myself. That's where my head is at. And I'm going up against one of the moderators of this league. And I feel like if I win here, you know, that's a statement. That says, hey, I'm here to play. So we get a Tornadus versus an Ogerpon, and I want you to pay close attention to that Tornadus. It becomes very important early on. We both decide to switch. We got our Steel types out, his Dragon versus my Fairy. He goes for another switch. I take this as an opportunity to Thunder Wave. And you're going to see I play with Thunder Wave a lot in this match. I paralyze the Pelipper. I get rocks down in the Fortress. I paralyze the Fortress. I believe he tries to Rapid Spin here, but fails. Next turn, I knock off his Fortress as he gets those rocks off. I'm playing well. I'm getting my way a lot, but I'm not making a lot of progress. I'm just kind of setting myself up for later. I'm not making offensive progress. I'm making utility progress. Anyway, he's locked into Rapid Spin. So I think, hey, now's a good time to try and get my speed boost. He goes into the Urshifu. I don't want to die. So Gastrodon gets a nice Storm Drain boost, taking the Surging Strikes. Trailblaze hurts a ton. I lower its offensive power with Chilling Water, which does damage. Not a lot, but it does some. He tries to, you know, take that weight off his shoulders. He Swords Dances. As the Surging Strikes come, hit the Tinkaton for a ton of damage as I paralyze it. Now, that's a max defense Tinkaton. You're not normally taking that unless you do that. So what I do is I Thunder Wave it, which slows it down and allows me to get Encore. I go first. I lock it in. I get super lucky, right? I get super lucky in that he's paralyzed when he's supposed to click Surging Strikes and kill me. If he killed me, I probably would have gone probably Toxtricity and probably Discharged. But instead, I know he's going to Surging Strikes again. I go back into Kurama, my Gastrodon, and I recover. I'm saying he's either going to attack me or he's going to switch. Either way, I heal up. Pelipper is paralyzed again. I'm getting a ton of favorable paralysis. He has no ground types. I feel like my Volt Switch is free. I end up giving him a defense boost. Out comes Ogerpon Cornerstone. He does have Sturdy, so no matter what, his Body Press isn't going to kill. It didn't even need to trigger that. Leech Seed comes in and gives me a little bit of healing. Here is where the game could have changed based on my prep. Originally, I had Substitute, and I could have just Sub-Seed stalled this Archeralodon out. I ended up swapping it out for Encore later on. I can't remember why I made that switch, but Substitute would have actually been better. I could have done a lot of chip damage via Leech Seed and ended up with a Substitute at the end of it. Here we go. We try an Earth Power. I want to snipe that Archeralodon, but the Tornadus comes in and clicks that Nasty Plot as I decide to recover. Fatal mistake. Fatal mistake as he gets a +2 boost on a 375 speed Pokemon. I healed. And then he gets a KO. I got no value out of that turn. I go into my Scarfed Toxtricity hoping to snipe this thing. Fatal mistake number 2. At the beginning of these matches, you get to see your opponent's Terra types right here. I forgot about that. I was not watching his Terra types. Watch what happens. He goes Terra Ground. That's the second week now where I have been hurt badly by Terra Ground, and I should have seen it coming. He was immune. Terra Blast takes me out, and now I'm stuck in a very difficult position. This Tornadus is well prepared to sweep my team. He KOs Gambit, it KOs Tinkaton, it KOs my Cornerstone. I have to pray. And the Lord answers my prayer. The Hurricane misses, I get a Calm Mind. Now if the Hurricane hits, I can survive it. Because I get to do another Calm Mind. It still does 80%. I would have lost had he not missed. And I get to snipe him with Stored Power. We're making a turnaround. This game is going well. Floatzel forces me out with Aqua Jet. Tinkaton, is it able to take it? 18%. It can take it a second time. What does he do? He switches. That makes me think that was probably a choice banded Floatzel. We get our rocks up again. I try and paralyze it. I'm thinking Pelipper's probably switching or killing me. I'm saying, okay, go ahead and kill me. Or switch. And I'll paralyze something else. But he seems like he wants to die too. He ends up U-turning. I'm just spamming Thunder Wave at this point. Kind of a tricky position. Because I didn't want to let anything die or take chip from Pelipper, because Pelipper could kill just about everything on my team. Espatra and Cornerstone, and I need to keep King Gambit healthy for later in the match. So that was a tough position to be in. I get paralysis on Archeralodon. He Electro Shots. How do I get myself out of this position? I go Cornerstone and I get my Seed back up. Body Press KOs, but now I have a Leech Seed. And what do I do here? I go King Gambit. Oh, very interesting. Okay, so I Swords Dance because I knew he would Body Press. I have a Chople Berry, cuts the damage in half. I'm able to survive, get some Leech Seed recovery, boost up, and KO with Brick Break. So that went very well for me. Fortress, I believe he Thunder Waves here as I continue to boost. I need to be able to KO this thing in as few turns as possible. Brick Break doesn't KO. He Volt Switches into Pelipper, and I believe I start picking up some Sucker Punch KOs here at the end of the game that make my stat sheet look a little bit better. In comes the Urshifu Rapid. Paralyzed and KO'd with Iron Head. I figured if he Aqua-Jetted, if he clicked Aqua-Jet, then, you know, he beats my Sucker Punch. So I just had to outright attack, and then him getting fully paralyzed gave me, you know, the best case scenario. Was I really defiant? That's embarrassing. Don't talk about the fact that I was not Supreme Overlord. That entirely changed the game, because I could have just, if I was actually Supreme Overlord, I probably could have K'Tau cleaved and won at the end. That's really embarrassing. That is so embarrassing. I cannot believe that I'm gonna have to post this. He ends up cursing. Very smart. I guess that proves that he wasn't choice banded like I had originally theorized. His wave crashes are enough to secure a victory versus my team. He actually ends up just Aqua-Jetting, so well played, my friend. Maybe thinking, Sean, you got so lucky with paralysis, and while that is true, I'd like to remind you that I paralyzed 5/6 of his team, so I expect a few paralyses. It is funny. No, it is. It's hilarious.